We have 30 seconds till we start. I'll let you listen in.
10 to 11 a.m. Wednesday mornings on KMET 1490. Join me for an hour of Law & Order stories and commentary. Law & Order is now the #1 issue for Californians. If you miss it live, you can hear or watch it 24/7 on either SoundCloud or Livestream. See you then. Thank you. Can't you see with just a few seconds?
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Glad to have you today on today's show. We are going to be talking a little bit about fun. Yes, the LA Connection Comedy Theater, which is one of the top 3 comedy clubs in all of Southern California, according to ABC TV, is having some fun over there with their new schedule. Doing so safely, and a post-pandemic reopening starts this Saturday, August 7th. There's going to be a comedy improv by teens at 5 p.m., a rookie improv. Teams are going to be rotating at 6 p.m., and a JV improv. We're going to find out a little about that. Teams are rotating at 7 p.m., and then Improv 2001 Odyssey LAC veteran improv team in running 20-year-old hit show will be starting at 8, and then 9 Stranger Than Fiction veteran improv team. So between that and next week and the following week, there's some fun stuff, which actually the LA Connection was founded by Kent Scott in 1977. We're going to talk to Kent a little bit later. He was going back in the day, even with Robin Williams, where they performed together at College of Marin. He's worked with Paul Sales, founder of Second City, Del Close, the father of the long-form Herald, and has been a member of the Writers and Directors Guild since 1984. He was the mastermind behind the series Mad Movies that ran for 3 years on MTV, 2 years of Nick at Night, and 2 years in syndication. He's trained many alumni, including Matthew Perry, Will Ferrell, Hank Azaria, Josh Groban, John Lovitz, Chris Kattan, Cedric Yarbrough, love Cedric, nice guy, Taylor Negron, Sharon Lawrence, Mindy Sterling, Shannon Elizabeth, Eddie McClurg, Victoria Jackson, and the marvelous Mrs. Maisel producer, which is the creator Amy Sherman Palladino, which actually that show is a fun show. I remember watching that all the way through. But so that's coming up a little bit later at the half-hour mark, so super excited about that. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Jesse, when's the last time you've been to an improv? Ever?
Good morning. I have never been to an improv.
Oh, man, they're funny.
Ever.
Yeah, they're funny. I remember early on in the day somebody saying, go take improv, it'll help you. And I never did. So, but I always wanted to. That was one of the things that I felt would be like a good addition, especially if you're like an actor. And I mean, some of those names, that he's been able to assist and help out with are just comedy, which, at some point you're going to say, okay, they're comedy legends, right? So I don't think they want to be called comedy legends just yet, because they're like, I still got a lot of work. But, if they were like 80 years into the future, you'd be like, okay, those were comedy, funny greats. So some pretty cool stuff. So super looking forward a little bit to that. In the meantime, a lot of questions right now, and we got to answer some of them. This is the latest top headline. Nearly 72,000 kids have tested positive in the U.S. last week for coronavirus. 58.2% of Americans ages 12 and up are fully vaccinated, but the U.S. are facing another surge. And with this, obviously a lot of questions. The CDC, citing New Science, again, have changed their guidance to recommend everyone in areas with substantial or high levels of transmission, vaccinated or not, wear a face covering public indoor settings. But 72,000 kids testing positive. Jesse, what does that make you think over there?
That it's still spreading, but are any of them like deathly sick, or have any of them passed away?
Well, so far it's at the beginning stages. So what that says is, the fact that they're younger youth. Again, this is a top headline. Testing positive means we're going to see probably the next couple weeks the situation with that. But kids, when you just think of, and I've always said this, when you think of kids and children, and they're at school, right? A lot of these kids, I wonder how many are at school. It's very easy to get sick. You get one child sick in a school environment. It's kind of easy throughout the day for at least 4 to 5 to 6 to get sick and then take it to their families. So you've got one child, right? Now you got 3 or 4 parents which are trying to tend to the young one. Guaranteed everybody's going to get sick in that household. Do you understand? So 72,000 can spread pretty quickly to at least, about 800,000 people within just a matter of a week. So very interesting. Again, that's one of the top headlines there. Alabama hospital, they're seeing a pretty bad day of the pandemic. 4 COVID patients at Regional Medical Center in Anniston, Alabama, died within 24 hours, making the hospital's deadliest day of the pandemic. As Delta surges, patients are now getting sicker faster, according to a doctor at the hospital. So evidently, in some cases, it's accelerating, right? So I don't know if they could say sicker faster, but it's accelerated so fast that they can't get ahead of it right now in certain areas. So that's kind of one of the latest questions. And then there's this. The World Health Organization, they're calling for a moratorium on booster shots until more people from low-income countries have received a vaccine. Low-income countries have been able to administer about 1.5 shots for every 100 people due to lack of supply, according to Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who's the World Health Organization Director General. A moratorium on boosters until at least the end of September will enable at least 10% of the population of every country to at least be vaccinated. So some of the latest headlines, but something definitely to say, okay, what are we going to do next? And are we ahead of this? And I certainly hope so. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Jesse, what's going on in the world of what you got going on?
Yeah, I honestly I feel so bad for the parents right now because I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about sending my kids to school. So I don't know what they're going through. I feel so bad.
Yeah, it's and that is hard. It is definitely hard. And again, if you wonder if it's a cold, right,
Right?
or a flu, so it's kind of like which one do you have? Um,
Yeah, it starts to mess with your head.
It really does. For example, like here's another headline: 60% of Florida hospitals are expected to face a staffing shortage in the next week.
Ooh, okay, that's not good.
Again, glad you're back from Florida. I told you this, right?
Yeah, short trip.
Which I told you they've laxed it. I said, do not buy into the fact that just because other people were not wearing face masks, don't do it, right? I told you that.
That is true. That is true.
With coronavirus-related hospitalizations are now up 13% from the previous high. See, at least they're thinking ahead in the healthcare sector and saying, okay, how are we going to prepare for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I guarantee probably they're going to have to do maybe a staged, I don't know if they want to call it shutdown or lockdown anymore, but a staged safety. It just depends on how the next couple of weeks
Yeah.
end up turning out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember yesterday when we were talking about, or I talked about the guy that was duct taped to the chair on Frontier Airline?
Of course. Yeah. What do you do when that guy is in front of you? Yeah, of course.
So apparently I talked to my girlfriend yesterday. She was like, she mentioned it to me, and I was like, yeah, they duct tape him and all that. She was like, no. Did you hear what they did to the crew? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So apparently Frontier Airlines suspended the entire crew for duct taping the man to his seat. So apparently he was screaming inappropriately, touched a couple female attendants, and physically assaulted the male flight attendant. So apparently, while he was screaming, cussing. Apparently, his parents are worth $2 million,
Ha 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 ha.
right? So apparently his
Little
parents,
spoiled brat. That adds some
right?
perspective. Sorry, continue.
That just made me mad because you're right. It's a spoiled brat that thinks he can do whatever he wants, and now that they tied him up and because he's acting a fool, they end up suspending the Frontier crew members. I'm like, that's wrong. That's
Okay,
wrong.
you know what? I wasn't gonna show this guy's, but now I feel like somebody. Well, one of two things. One of
Yeah,
two things. He went home, or worse yet, his family found out, and instead of just saying, "Man, you're such a pain in the butt," somebody probably said, whether it be his mom or his father, um, "How dare they?" Right? Not looking at the full,
right.
because that makes no sense. I mean, he did. Okay, hold on. No, no, no. Frontier now backing crew who used tape to restrain unruly passengers. So I guess it's gone back and forth actually.
Let's see.
Um,
Fortunately, the proper policies for restraining a passenger were not followed.
yeah.
There,
Well, I think what happened was here's look, and you're right. As of yesterday, that was the latest. But I'm seeing other news saying Frontier Airlines now says it supports and will pay the crew of flight
oh, okay,
attendants.
that I was about okay. So yeah, they keep flip flopping because I'm just like, oh my god, so many things are happening.
Yeah. Evidently, and they probably did it because they got a call from
Right,
Mr. Big Man himself, right? Mr. I got lots of money. I'm going to shut you down. And then they probably did their little investigation, right? But I guarantee if this guy's family were not that rich, nothing would have happened at all. Because how many times has that nothing ever happened, right? So, uh,
right. It's not like it's the first time that someone's been duct taped to a chair on a plane.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm assuming that his parents called, lawyered up, and be like, oh, I want these people fired.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, he's screaming his parents are worth $2 million before punching a flight attendant. Oh, yeah. Well, that's good that that came out. Max Berry, 22-year-old. Yeah, okay. You know what I say about that then? My parents are worth more than effing 2 million. Goddamn. Sorry, I'm reading his exclamation. Dollars. That's what he shouted. He continued to cry out, hollering at everyone within earshot, and declared that his grandfather is an attorney. Ah, there it is.
Ah, there we go.
Money and attorneys. So they were like, we're gonna sue them, blah blah blah. Somebody made a call. Even if mom, I'm sorry, of said kid, he needs help, man. Let's see. Maxwell Wilkinson Berry, 22, was caught on camera shouting at the flight crew and other passengers. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, he has connections. That's the problem. That's why he feels he can be
Whatever,
that way. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, and then he went to dumb man. He went to social media on Twitter and says this will forever be the most dehumanizing experience in my entire life. Many people laughed and ridiculed me as I was mistreated by staff of a professional airline. Just to make matters worse, this has gone viral on the internet. It will never disappear. My life will never be. I don't know what else he said, but honestly, at least people have video of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right? They have video of him acting like a fool. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't understand how you. Oh my god, I just found his Twitter account.
yeah. Do you
I'm
see
gonna
it?
blast this guy.
Like I hate it because I mean if he was Drake, he obviously needs help. He's a little too belligerent, but he's a belligerent, spoiled brat. Period. End of story. And if you would have told me, like, if this guy was in front of me, oh man, I guarantee you, I don't think I'd be able to keep my cool. Now that I know a lot more of the information, but yeah, I don't know what you do other than in mid-flight, especially if you're punching people. I don't. Maybe there wasn't a. I guarantee there wasn't a. Or maybe. Yeah, that's probably what they did. Maybe the air. Um, deputy or whoever, was in flight was like, I'm not going to let myself out. Because sometimes they wait for, maybe somebody to cause a problem and then,
or something like that.
yeah, so maybe, what do they call it? Air sheriff or something like that? I don't know. Or they didn't have any air sheriffs to go around. I don't really know. Anyway, all right, people. So there you go. It is what it is. And the guy is safe. He was just dehumanized. Because,
Oh, poor baby.
God forbid, he wasn't dehumanizing flight attendants and other people around him.
Right.
Poor victim. Woe is me mentality. Get help, seriously. And your family just need to just shut their mouth down. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Network security should be number one on a business priority list. Join Brad McDermott, CEO of California Computer Options, each Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock for IT Hour. From ransomware attacks, hacks, vulnerabilities, and data theft, it may just be a matter of time before your business is hit. What should you do? Brad can answer many of your questions each Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock on IT Hour. Each show's topic will also be listed on the program's SoundCloud podcast. IT Hour, Wednesday at 4 p.m.
New teen driver in the family? Just bought your first home? Have a new bundle of joy? Every life change matters, and by reviewing your insurance policy with Little & Sons Insurance Services, you could be benefiting with big savings. Little & Sons Insurance Services, a family-owned insurance agency who values the old-fashioned way of doing business. They work for you, not an insurance company, meaning your best interests are at heart. They can custom tailor your policy based on specific needs and a price you can afford. Home, auto, or business, you're covered. Call 1-844-9-LITTLE. That's 1-844-9-LITTLE, or go online to little, the letter N, sons.com. That's littleNsons.com. Summer in the Inland Empire. You know what that means. Sunny days and hot temperatures that make you want to stay inside. Franklin Mechanical Systems can repair or replace your air conditioning unit to get it working cool before the heat hits. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems for all your residential and commercial air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000 and get cool today.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just go to 12ignoremyscore.com right now. That's www.12ignoremyscore.com. Auto financing the easy way. 12ignoremyscore.com. Get started today. Auto financing the easy way.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. And however you're joining us, we hope you are enjoying the beginning of your day and have a lot of great stuff planned. We've got Stephanie Reed over there tuning in. Thank you. Viviana says they ought to have taped his mouth. So, my mom,
She's not wrong.
I guarantee she's going to start carrying duct tape around whenever she travels. Yeah, I don't think she's wrong either. Judy Munoz says, good morning, Aaron, Jesus, and everyone. Yeah, she's giving thanks to Jesus, so that's always helpful. I'm just kidding. Jesse, of course. Jesus, Sanchez. Judy Munoz, watching from Rawlins, Wyoming. Thank you for tuning in. And Patricia saying hello in social media as well. Super excited about that. All right, so some of the top headlines, oddly enough, here's a couple. COVID-19 cases among U.S. children and teens jumped 84% in a week, according to one pediatrician. And then I see this, with Florida being as terrible as things are, the governor, DeSantis, banned schools from requiring masks. That didn't set well with some of the younger kids that were actually pretty smart about that. They're like, who would do that when, hello, coronavirus is around? So some questions as to how to keep your kids safe if, in fact, they're getting coronavirus, because this, again, is going to be the talk of the next couple of weeks. I almost guarantee the question is going to be, are they going to just stop classes again? Which I said, you have to be ahead of this. About 4 months back, I said, if this happens, you have to be prepared to do it again. We already did it the last year, and this is going into a fall season ahead of time. So it's not a good beginning into a fall season in the next couple of months. It just isn't. Pediatricians say there are still easy things parents can do to keep a kid safe from COVID-19. The variant is capable of causing serious injury to kids. The information is still coming in as to what will happen in the coming days. Dr. Francis Collins, the director of the National Institutes of Health, says it's clear that this variant is capable of causing serious injury in children. You heard those stories coming out of Louisiana pediatric ICUs where there are kids as young as a few months old that are sick. Anyone that says you don't have to worry about it if you're a young, healthy person, you do need to think about it. The number one thing parents, of course, are wondering about is the vaccine. Now, if a parent or adult in a child's life isn't vaccinated, they advise to, check into it. Again, 12 and over are the majority of these vaccines, and sometimes kids get these vaccines, but they should be appropriate to the child's size, number one, right? I mean, you're not going to give a certain amount of fluids to a young child who's still growing and versus somebody that's 18, right? You gotta figure that out as those that are coming up with these vaccines, because sometimes vaccines can have a heavy punch on some of our children, but you got to be very careful on that. Talk to your children about it. Obviously, let them know. Again, have little practice drills as to what do we do when we're around other kids. Let's see. Edward says she's even talked to her children, ages 2 and 4, about the Delta variant. She said, I've told them the various kinds of grew up and has gotten a little bit stronger, so we have to fight a little bit harder. With teens, parents do not want to make them more anxious, so be a matter of fact about it. It may help technology. It can be scary, but saying that's okay because we know of things and ways to lessen the risk and help all of us in the family keep safe. Good to encourage the kids to be open, especially if they're not feeling well. And that way parents can keep them home and remind them to stay home is something good to do. That way they can monitor it as well. But again, when the kids get sick, be prepared. Parents, I would say wear your face mask around your children as well, at home, which I know people aren't used to. If you start feeling that way, it's better to be safe than sorry, and start spreading it. It will actually delay that. All right, coming up in just a minute after we take our messages, it is the LA Connection Comedy Theater Improv. Oh boy, is there like a bunch of stuff happening there. We can't wait to talk about it. We've got the founder there talking to us, just waiting in the wings. We'll be talking to Kent Skov next here on The Morning Show. Stay tuned.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers at 120 West Redlands Boulevard in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hemet, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now.
Welcome back. Yes, it is The Morning Show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, and super excited to bring on this next guest. He has helped so many in the world of improv and funny including the likes of Will Ferrell, Matthew Perry, Hank Azaria, Josh Groban, John Lovitz, Chris Kattan, and many, many more. Joining us right now is Kent Scov of the LA Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Kent.
Good morning. You got me up and out of bed, and I'm ready to go.
You know what? That's sometimes hard to do when you're running a big profile place, especially getting back into the swing of things over there. Did you rest up? And if so, did you have any bad dreams? And are you making them better for having them?
Well, I only had about 16 months to rest before we reopen, so I think I'm ready.
Got it.
We are opening this Saturday with 5 shows back to back with teens and rookies and JVs and a couple of our top level teams as well.
Well, and look, improv is such an art that some just fall into quite suddenly, and then others just have to learn it as they go. You've got something that I know a lot of our listeners probably may not understand. When we talk about like people like Matthew Perry, Will Ferrell, Hank Azaria, and so many more, you hear. Of course, those that say, God, they're so funny, they're so this and that, but you don't know those names in the very beginning of improv, rarely, and yet I have a feeling we're going to see some up-and-coming stars this coming Saturday. Is that true?
Absolutely. There's always people you never know who's going to be the next one. When Matthew Perry came to the theater, he was at Buckley High School. He was 16 to 18 when I had him. And there's a lot of Chandler in Friend's character in what he did. He would jump off the walls. He was very irreverent, very sarcastic, and very similar to his character. So he was able to finally find a character that was very naturally him. And that's why I think it became so successful for him, because he had told me before he did 10 pilots. He was working since he was a little kid. And finally he got one pilot, The Friends, that took off, and obviously the rest is history.
Well, and sometimes that's just the question, right? What is going to be the history of that person? But some people just do it for the fun of it. Again, the LA Connection Comedy Theater Improv this Saturday, pretty exciting. Obviously not exciting, the pandemic, but being able to do so safely. Let's talk about this. Again, I'm directing people directly. Go to laconnectioncomedy.com. You'll see the schedule there, as well as much, much more. But, obviously everybody knows what the pandemic is like, but very rarely do they get to laugh during the pandemic. And I want to kind of know, how does this work? Because I'm seeing every hour on the hour. So it's not like a regular, I've never been to an improv performance. I've been to a comedy performance where everybody kind of does stand-up, but not improv. What can people expect from this?
Well, improv's a little bit more engaging in that it involves the audience. Sometimes we actually bring people up on stage. So let's say we want to do a piece called sound effects. We'll give them a microphone, and they'll do all our sound effects, and we'll set them up like, let's chainsaw this piece of wood or something like that, and they have to make the sound of the chainsaw, or a hammer, or any sort of a saw sound, or a drill. And it's just hysterical what some of the noises that come out of their mouth. So that's a real fun game. And we have other games we bring people up. We have a game called Puppets, where we actually have them come up and stand behind us and hold our arms, and they become our puppeteers. We can't move unless they move us. So we try and involve the audience. That's much different than a lot of other improv games. We do a lot of impressions. We do a lot of characters. We do topical humor, dating humor. And so it's more engaging that it involves people, and sometimes even touching on parts of their life. So, improv doesn't always have to be hysterically funny. Sometimes it can be touching. Sometimes it can be dramatic for a moment. So it plays so many different levels, and it gets more on a personal level, because sometimes we'll ask people to give us personal suggestions, and then sometimes when we recreate a piece of their life or a slice of their life. And that's very engaging, and that's what I think people come back for. And unlike stand-up, where it's kind of a prepared act, it's my turn and then your turn to laugh and my turn to do another joke. It's more engaging, that it's more involving with the audience throughout the whole show. It's more involving with the other actors, where you really have to work together to create fun humor, and the humor comes out of situations rather than, lines that have been predetermined.
Well, and it's so to be in the very moment and not think ahead, because I think that is such a first of all, it's so difficult. It's so difficult sometimes when you're in your head. And I've seen actors and actresses, and I always say, go take some quick improv, because it gets you out of that planned mode and you're just in the moment. Which, again, you mentioned Matthew Perry, and forever favorite of mine. In some of his movies as well. I want to see some more stuff from him. But very in the whole cast was very much that way, right? Very present in the moment. And so my question is, especially, for kids and teens, I understand at 5:00 there's the comedy improv for kids by teens. It's now, is it 10? What's the total amount to participate and or go watch?
Well, we start with kids 5 and up. Then we have a teen cast, which is usually about 12, 13 that starts, depends on, an advanced 12-year-old, up to about 18. And then, of course, we have a bunch of adults as well. So it varies. But going back to what you said about being in your head, that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to be thinking and planning, because let's say I'm doing a scene with you and I'm thinking about what I want to say. Well, you don't know what I'm thinking about. And why I'm thinking, I'm not listening to what you're saying to me. So
yeah.
I'm not really there with you. So you have to be, don't get in your head. Just kind of be present, be in the now. Once you know as an improviser to just be in the now and stop worrying about trying to be funny. Don't worry about trying to be the best person on the stage. Because while you're thinking all that stuff, meanwhile, everybody else around you is improvising and you're in your head.
Yeah. And
you're planning and no one knows what the heck you're thinking. And usually that's a success or failure. So it takes a while to realize that. When I first started doing improv, and I came up with the committee in San Francisco, which is a pretty legendary group as well. Robin Williams was there. I actually grew up with him and went to college and high school with him. And Howard Hessman, Dr. Johnny Fever, who I kind of like, he was one of my mentors, And once you realize that you don't have to try and be funny, that you don't have to be thinking about what you want to do, that you just be in the now and just be present and be available for all the other improvisers on the stage, your work just shines. It just begins to take off, because you're not really trying to do anything other than just be present and be part of the team.
Well, take me back to Robin Williams, because I mean, God rest his soul, obviously, he touched so many lives moving forward, but I can only imagine you have those special stories, okay, again, not everything is funny in the moment, but man, what a way to just kind of let go and for a good couple of hours just be somewhere else. Did you ever find that to be the case with him?
Well, he's probably one of the funniest guys I've ever met. There's no doubt about that. And the funny thing is he's very quiet off stage, but on stage he's just like he's wound up. And we had a scene I played his brother in an original play in College of Marin. We had a number of scenes together. I can't remember how many now, but maybe 4 or 5 scenes we had as me and him as brothers. And one of the scenes, he was supposed to hand me a prop. And we're actually in a play. This isn't a rehearsal, so I can't stop and say, give me the prop. And I knew as the actor he was supposed to hand me the prop, but as the brother, I wasn't supposed to know he was going to hand me the prop. So I couldn't ask for it. So I kept hinting, hand me the prop. And he threw water on me. He threw the rug on the stage on me. Pretty much everything that was on the stage, any food item, any prop, any water, let's say the rug over top of my head. And we went for about 20 minutes, and I finally got the prop from him. And, of course, some of that ended up staying in the play because it was an original play. So, he then had a way to rewrite stuff because he was actually funnier than the playwright. And we go off stage afterward. We're in the dressing room, and he looks at me and says, Kent, were you pissed off at me? And I said, well, no, I wasn't pissed off at you, but my character sure was. So that's a pretty good story for Robin Williams. But, yeah, he's a very funny guy, an extremely talented improviser, and could do a lot of voices. And, it started out because, he was an only child in Tiburon, California, and he would do voices. He'd do all the characters. And when he would say that, when I would read about that and talk to him about that, I realized I did the same thing. I did all the characters on Let's Make a Deal. I got a recorder at 10 years old and started playing everybody. And that's how you learn how to do voices, is you just go out and you play and do different accents and different voices. And I started getting into impressions, a lot of presidents. When I started doing radio like you back in, I did radio in the 70s. And I had my own radio show, as well as I was a sidekick to another pretty popular DJ, and I did all the comedy for him. So I did a lot of impressions of presidential humor, and the audience loved it. And sometimes they actually thought, like I did Reagan, and people actually called in thinking they were talking to Reagan, and we put them through like a synthesizer, sounding like back in those days, because it was a long distance phone call to the White House. These people actually thought they were talking to Reagan.
I believe. Well, and do they? I mean, like, what would be a conversation like? Reagan, can we? What do we do during this administration? Can you come back?
Well, now all I know is I don't know what you're saying. I do know that Nancy and I we're having a wonderful dinner, and we'd quite frankly like to have you over, but I don't even know your name.
Oh, my name's Aaron, and we've got Jesse Sanchez as well. I think Jesse has a question for you, Reagan.
Well, I love people named Jesse, so as long as his name's Jesse, he can ask me a question.
Oh, wow, great. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm dead, but I feel good.
I'm hoping heaven is good for you. Does Nancy agree it's good? Or, I mean, do you guys just make things out of anything? Did you talk to the big guy?
Well, I'm here with the big guy now, and we're having a dinner. It's there's 13 now instead of there's more disciples. I'm now a disciple. And Nancy's cooking, and she doesn't want to be a cook because she thinks that's not liberating. So we got another cook, and now she's next to me, and we're eating, and we're having pork chops.
Pork chops in heaven? Man, sign me up. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear you're a disciple now. Did you think that when you were a president, you were going to be a disciple ever? Like, were you a fan of the guy?
Well, yes. I think I was always going to be a disciple. And a lot of people ask me, what about George Bush Sr.? Is he going to be a disciple? And I said, no, he's going to be at the pearly gates.
Got it. I got it. Well, you know what? There it is. Reagan, thank you very much for spending time with us. Kent, thank you for, helping Reagan kind of come to us from the other side. You look, Kent, obviously, now I got like 20 different questions on how many different voices you kind of tap into. My question, though, is the LA Connection comedy, which people could go check out, LAConnectionComedy.com. I haven't had a good laugh like that in a while, by the way. Thank you for that. I really needed that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I you know what, and thank you for sharing that bit, because the reality is there was no pre-planning. I've seen and interviewed comedy legends, which are, especially early in the morning, they're just like, there is no, sometimes they go into a particular, but like back to Robin Williams, what I loved about Robin Williams was he was so in the moment. There was no, unless it was, I'm sure, a comedy, stand-up, there was nothing that he ended up doing that was ever repeated again, right? Like he was just wherever he would go. And are there others that you say, in the last few years, you see them really shining right now? And I would imagine, again, with the LA Connection theater, that, again, you don't know the names until way later, 15, 20 years later, but you get to, right? Like, what are the last ones that you thought were amazing and are now?
Well, the funny is Amy Sherman Palladino, who was kind of a late bloomer in terms of getting the accolades. Took her to Marvelous Miss Maisel. She had a pretty good following with the Gilmore Girls, but never really winning a lot of Emmys or anything like that, or being recognized. But she wrote a spec script in early 90s for Roseanne. And Roseanne picked up the spec script. She was about, I think, 22 at the time. And I remember talking to her. We were across the street at the sushi bar, and she was asking me, what should I do? And So she wrote the spec script for Roseanne, and I said, get it to her and see what she does. And then she liked it. She became a staff writer, and then Gilmore Girls and many other things in between. And then, of course, The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And now, she's really coming to her own and found something, because she loves comedy. Gilmore Girls obviously was not a comedy, but she actually is pretty funny, and it allowed her to bring out her sense of humor and her style. And so sometimes it takes people a lot longer than you think to rise. I mean, even Robin Williams, it took him a while to rise. He was an actor at Juilliard, and he won the stand-up comedy contest in San Francisco for a comedian. And then he did Laugh-In, which a lot of people didn't really see that much. Then some guest appearances, and finally he got, Mork. But it takes time. People don't realize sometimes it will take you, 5-10 years, because a lot of people start their comedic backstory. They could be teenagers, and it doesn't really blossom till they're in their 30s. So, I just tell people, do stuff because you love it. I do improv because I like it. It keeps you young, keeps you fun. You get to work with people. You get to make stuff up. And, you find yourself even improvising with some of the good improvisers off stage, when you're playing a game of pool or just shooting the breeze around, a drink or something. The people are just more engaging. They're fun. They like to have a good time and laugh. And there's nothing better than laughter for your spirit and your energy and keeping you just focused and happy in your life. And I think that laughter is the best thing for the soul.
Yeah, you know what, you certainly say. Speaking of the other side, I think they need more laughter as well, and then they need to help us a little bit more, I would say. But if there's anybody else you want to bring on to really quick, but I will say, sorry.
Hillary and I, I just want to say, Aaron, that Hillary and I, we like you. We like your show. And, it's early in the morning, but I just want to say that I do like everything you're doing. And I think you have a sense of humor. And I'd like you to come out and have dinner with Hillary and I out in Martha's Vineyard.
Well, you know what? I would appreciate that. I think if can Jesus come along? I've got Jesse. He's known as Jesus in many circles, by the way.
I don't have Jesus for dinner, but I do think if you want to come out, you have to bring your own dinner. You have to cook it, and you have to bring a bottle of wine and a lot of other things. In fact, we're not even going to be here, Eric. So I'll just leave the keys for you.
What?
And if you have a Tesla, I'd like to take your car. So Hillary and I can take a little road trip while you're at my house.
You know what? Then yeah, sure. Just as long as the security. I got the security code in case somebody calls the police on me.
I just want to let you know this call's being recorded. So you have my security code. So if the Redlands Police Department is going to be surrounding your radio station any minute now.
Got it. Okay, you know what? Hey, we're good. The LA Connection comedy.com is where it's at. Can you please let Kent back on? Kent, you got a lot of connections.
I'm back. Yep. I don't know where he came from.
Yeah, you never know. Kent, again, how can people get tickets? How much are they? And I can't wait to have some fun.
Well, we actually lowered our ticket price from $12 just to $10 now.
Whoa.
So if they call up, it's $10 for tickets. And our direct line is 818-784-1868, extension 2. 818-784-1868, extension 2. And they can call and get tickets, and just $10. And then usually we let people stay for more than one show. So we have shows every hour, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Not 10, to 10.
Okay.
And there's food and drinks available with the restaurant next door. And it's just going to be a fun night. We're going to get back and try and have some comedy. And we're going to the audience has to be in masks, but the performers can be completely wrapped in mummy. No, they don't. They won't be.
I was wondering. I don't know. I was waiting. I want to share this because we do have national viewers also from time to time, and they cannot attend, but they can watch online, right?
Yeah, we have LAC Comedy on YouTube, LAC Comedy on YouTube. We have a bunch of online shows, and we live stream those on YouTube, but there's a bunch of shows up there now they could watch.
Perfect.
And, we also used to dub movies with funny comedy soundtracks, and there's a site on YouTube called Mad Movies Online on YouTube, where you can see some old Mad movies that we dub, and we've got commercials we dub. I actually have a Ronald Reagan Viagra commercial that's been dubbed on there. So we got all sorts of fun stuff on Mad Movies Online, and then LAC Comedy on YouTube's all our live stuff.
Okay, I'm going to go check that out right now. I'm already following you on Twitter now. Spread the word, people. It is there. Mad Movies with LA Connection. Oh, man, Andy Griffith. Oh, what a comedy legend. Seriously. All right.
We dubbed Andy and Barney one. It's pretty funny about Barney trying to find someone to date. So he's going on Match.com and eHarmony and Craigslist and everything to find a date.
I don't know what he would do during coronavirus and a date. Do you, Jesse?
I have no idea. I'm trying not to laugh. Oh my God, I want to go here so bad. I'm gonna make it a trip just to go here.
With you and your girlfriend?
Yes, most definitely.
Man, too bad we can't.
But Jesse, once you get here, how are you going to get back?
Oh, that's true.
You might not. We may not let you get back. Then you might just be stuck here at our theater.
I'm okay with that.
He could just hang out outside, right?
Yeah, we'll let him be a wandering person out in front of our theater. He can just wander back and forth.
There you go. $8 a day will get you in. All right. I don't need food. I need funny. Can you give me some money? I've had some people say, "Hey, you got some money?" Like, I'm like, dang. Some got full, like, I gave one like $3 and she was like, "That's it?" What are you talking about? Can you give that back?
That will get you into our lobby, $3.
There you go.
To have it get into the theater,
There you
so
go.
You can piecemeal it to get it. We don't take Bitcoin, by the way. No Bitcoin.
Oh, man, you could get a Ferrari, but you can't get food. That's what I say. Hey, thank you, Kent, for spending time with us here on the morning show. Glad to have you. Can't wait to have you back.
Thank you. You guys have been great.
Thank you. All right, so Kent Scott, go get your tickets. LAConnectionComedy.com. I'm telling you, man, you just need some of that in the morning, and you got your day started. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
In the studio with Fred Penny, managing attorney with Penny and Associates Injury Lawyers. Fred, tell us what makes you the #1 choice for handling personal injury cases.
Most of our firm is made up of former insurance company trial lawyers with extensive experience handling all types of personal injury matters. We believe that gives us a distinct advantage.
That's Penny and Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennyandassociates.com or call 1-800-616-4-LAW. That's 1-800-616-4-LAW.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Don't let insurance companies make decisions for you. Go to Pass Auto Center in Banning, your one-stop repair facility with full collision repair, auto maintenance, service, and an authorized smog center. You'll also find a full-service used car lot to fit every budget with the right vehicle for you. Trade-ins are accepted and they pay cash for your car. Pass Auto Center at 2609 West Ramsey in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway between Sunset and 22nd. Call 951-849-7878.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Glad to have Kent Scott again here talking about his time with Robin Williams and greats. Jesse, I'm telling you, the next couple of weeks, go check out the LA Connection Theater. You gonna take your lady?
Oh, most definitely. I was trying not to laugh. Oh my god. I have a feeling that if I go there, I'm gonna laugh like a hyena, or I'm gonna have trouble breathing because I'm laughing too hard.
Those are sometimes the things you never know what you're gonna get with improv, and there's no redo. You know, it's not like one of those like what was the funniest joke. There's no such thing. It's just because it's so in the moment, which is I'm glad they're capturing it on camera because. So and it's not always, because sometimes they struggle and sometimes you have to kind of get in the mode and you have to loosen yourself up and work your brain out and just kind of do certain things. There's certain exercises. There's one show that I used to like. Oh man, and they were like working for points but never points. It was good improv for TV and done by some greats and they just give them a scenario and they just go into it. And some of them, hilarious. Again,
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of the show though.
Yeah, it was called. Let's see, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
There you go.
Yeah, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Fantastic show. Drew Carey, Ryan Stiles, Wayne Brady. Colin Mottry, Aisha Tyler. Actually, she's hilarious, by the way. Interviewed her a couple times, but again, some fun, exciting stuff. Go check them out. LAConnection.com is where it's at. LAConnectionComedy.com, and then get them on YouTube. Okay, so I'm gonna go and subscribe. And you can check it out, and there you go. All right, people, we've run out of time, and that's it. There's Jesse. I'm Aaron. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same channel. Make it a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.